Hi, Joy.
Yeah.
I'm good.
Good. Woohoo! I'm just feeling the energy.
Yes, happy full moon in Virgo. And
It's Pisces. Is it full moon in Pisces?
Is it? I thought it was full moon in Virgo.
Yeah. Let me double check. I can't remember.
Yeah, I looked it up yesterday, and it said the worm moon, or something like that. But I'm pretty sure I heard Virgo this morning on Paul White Gold Eagle transmission. Got to give my shout-outs to Paul, you know.
I'm sorry. I'm using the internets to look this up.
No problem.
I don't know why it's not telling me here, of course. Anyways.
Oh, when I looked it up, all that came up was the full worm moon or something like that. Either way, it's a full moon today. Woohoo!
Okay, full moon in Virgo. Either way, it's like a very dominant sign for me because I have Virgo. I'm Virgo, Sun, Moon, and Mercury, and then my rising is Pisces. So either way.
Anyway, it's good for you. I don't, I exist through all times and dimensions, so I connect no matter what.
Right. It's going to reach its peak at 7. It reached its peak at 7:42 this morning, your time.
Well, I am currently playing with my crystals in my hot tub and watching the sun just dance on the cuts in the crystals, or the whatever you call them, the flat areas, and it is just shining. It is so bright and beautiful today. And I'm probably I didn't feel called to leave any crystals out last night, but maybe tonight I will leave a couple of them out for the moon energies. And then, so that's one thing I would like to talk about today, is just different things that we do with the full moon. And then I think there's some things you wanted to talk about too. So we'll give a little caption on that, and then we can go into our discussions.
Yep, I'm just lighting sage and calling in Archangel Michael, Archangel Uriel, and Archangel Raphael came to mind. And so those are the presents that I asked to be here to protect us and guide us and give us messages to share if they want us to share. And of course, talk about the full moon energy, honoring that, because regardless of however you look at the moon, whether you regard it as a planet or a spaceship or the Death Star, however you look at it, it's whatever your intention is, of course, that matters. So I feel like I honor myself, honestly, on the full moon, doing these rituals. I started doing these rituals. I didn't even know that I was doing rituals per se. I was right. I mean, later we learned that we were doing that, but it came natural to us to just have these activities in our lives during the full moon or the new moon. Those the two cycles, that we, and of course the solstices. But other than that, like, for myself, for full moon, I started putting it out, and this is after 2020. Anything before 2020, I was in the matrix. I was in the 3D world. I was on autopilot and so on and so on. But anyway, so I started putting my crystals out, and I started writing affirmations. I didn't even realize that I was doing that on the cycle. Go for it. I'm just letting you have the
floor. Sorry, I didn't know if you were done with or talking or what. Sorry. Yeah. Just a moment of silence. No, I was just thinking, I remember back, I want to say 2020. No, it was 2006 or 2007. I was 22, 23, or maybe 21, 22, something like that. And I was in a rehab facility for addiction. And oh man, I remember, I think it was the New Year, on New Year's. One of the activities that they had us do was write down all of the things that we wanted to see happen in the new year. I had no idea that any of this was the same thing as, like, manifestation or putting it out there to the universe or any of that. It just felt great to put it out, write it all down, and then at midnight on New Year's Eve, we went out and burned all of our papers that everyone had written, all of the things that they wanted to see happen. And so with the new moon, that's what we do, is we work on all of the things that we want to manifest. So we'll write down all of the expectations, all of our requests to the universe, all of the things that we want to see in our lives come into form. There's no big or too small. Anything that you can imagine, write it down. Anything that you want, call it to you by writing it down. There's magic in our words. That's one thing that I'm going over with the 4 agreements right now, is, being impeccable with your words. And so there's definite magic, white magic, that we can make, or black magic, depending on how we're using and what intentions we're using. So it's important to make sure that your intentions are pure, that you're not coming from a place of anger or hatred or fear, because then those words can be, used in the wrong direction. I don't want to say, that we're casting black magic spells, but it's the truth. When we're saying negative things, that we're actually creating, darkness. And so, it's not always about, somebody else is doing this to me. We do a lot of things to ourselves. So anyway, I'm off topic. So I learned that then, and it really resonated with me. And in the same treatment center, one of the counselors, or I think she was the lady that ran the place, I cannot remember her name for the life of me. Beautiful lady. I loved her very much. I'm trying to remember her name. Anyway, it's not important. She took me aside when I was very upset one day, because I was in a therapy session, group therapy, and all of the people were talking about, how we're not unique because we're alcoholics or addicts or whatever. And I just was adamant, I am unique. I am my own individual person. And then there was another discussion about, you got to put God before, or you got to put sobriety before everything, including God. And I was like, hell no, I don't have anything if I don't have God first. And so, I went through this whole thing with all the girls, and like we were fighting, and like my core beliefs, they're very strong. They've always been there. And so anyway, I'm still off topic here, coming back around. But anyway, so the lady pulled me aside and she said, take what resonates and leave the rest. And so I don't have to believe what other people believe just because they believe it. And so that's one thing that I learned there too. So anyway, coming back to the full moon stuff. So with the new moon, we write down our manifestations, all the things that we want to create. And it's important to do this because, if we don't speak it, we don't think it, we don't say it, how is the universe going to know what our desires are? You know what I mean? How is that energy going to be felt? We have to put that energy out there to have it bounce back and come to us. So write it down, or draw it out, or speak it. It doesn't have to be written. It can be spoken. This go around, this new moon, I just spoke my manifestations. And it was funny because literally before I even knew it, 2 of them came true. Within 24 hours. And I was like, whoa, that was fast. So definitely seeing some instant manifestations, and they're small things. It doesn't have to be big things. It was one of the things is I couldn't remember the name of a singer. I really wanted to know his name. And then all of a sudden his name popped up. He was the next song that came on Pandora. And I was like, thank you, universe. Thank you, me for answering my question. So when little things like that happen, little coincidences or whatever, I'm always grateful, and I always make sure that I thank the universe when I see those things manifest. And so with the new moon we manifest, and then with the full moon we release. So all of the things that we want, all the things that we don't want. So I guess the new moon would be all the things we want, and then the full moon would be all the things we don't want, right?
Yeah.
Think about it like that. So, and then also see what's manifested for you in the last month, since doing the new moon ritual, and then um and and then until the full moon. Sorry, I'm tongue tied today. See what's on your list, if you wrote it down and didn't burn it, or you don't have to burn these things. Some people find that the writing it down, holding on to it, and then burning it in the full moon. Sorry, I'm like all over the place. I'm trying to focus here. Writing it down in the new moon, holding on to it all month, and then looking at it, see what's manifested, burn it in the full moon, and then release it.
Yeah.
So in that time, I've seen things happen like fast, fast, fast. Now there are things that I want to manifest that I know will take a lot longer to manifest. So, but I cannot put expectations on time. It could happen in the next moment. We could get off the phone here and I could get a phone call that says you just won a prize to a round trip, RV trip across the United States, and your name was selected out of a hat. And I am open to all possibilities. So there is no time frame, but it might take 5 years. It might take 2 seconds. For the things that I want to see manifest. So it's important not to put a time frame on them. I was explaining to my daughter when we were talking about the new moon this time around, and she was saying, well, I put my wishes down and none of them came true. That's a child's expectation. And so we have to remember not to be children asking for Santa Claus to bring us gifts.
Is instant gratification.
Yes. It's not about, I didn't get what I wanted, so it can't, it's not real. Sometimes you didn't get what you wanted because what you need or what's coming to you is so much better, or had what you wanted to work out that way, or the way that you wanted it, it wouldn't have worked out as good as it did. So it's important not to put expectations. We just put the request out there, put the energy out there, and then the universe is responsible for how it returns to us.
Yeah.
I was just talking to a girl, a friend of mine, and she's going through some life circumstances, family issues, children, grown children who are making their own mistakes and things like that. And so what I told, I talked to her for a little while, and I find myself counseling people, not meaning to, just just being there for people. And I'm so grateful for that whenever somebody reaches out and they just need someone to support them. And so I was just, telling her, because she's not on our level, but as far as, awakening and spirituality and all of that stuff, but she's definitely I would say connected to God. And so I just said, with the new moon, or with the full moon, my words are all jumbled. Be impeccable with your words. With the full moon, we are releasing. And so what I told her is, all the things that she's going through, write them down. All the things that you want to say to your daughter, all the things that you want to say to your loved ones in heaven, or your loved ones on earth, or, anybody that's giving you issues, write it down, and burn it tonight or today, when, the full moon's still there right now, regardless whether the sun's out or not. It's still up there. We just can't see it through the sunlight. It's too bright. So it doesn't really matter what time of day or night or whatever. Those energies are still out there. So, and I wanted to mention, because you mentioned something about, however you feel about the moon. And I've had my own battles and struggles with the moon, and going through the flat earth theory and the satellite theory and all of those things. And so I've had my issues. And I also, see the moon is very feminine. And I've had my feminine issues with, the mother, my mother personally. So, we've had a love and hate relationship. I remember a friend of mine asked a while ago, what do you feel about the moon? And it's like, we have a love-hate relationship. And I think that's because I identify with the moon as myself, and I identify as the sun, with the sun as like my partner, if that makes any sense. So I have the biggest issue with myself. And so the moon, I have the biggest issue with, but regardless of whether you just think that it's some satellite that's out there in space that's controlling us, it still does affect us in a biological way. It affects the oceans. It affects our bodies because we're made of water. And so regardless of what it's made of or what its purpose is, it affects us in a way. And so our our job and our responsibility is to acknowledge its existence, not to say, you know, oh, it's a satellite, it doesn't matter. No, it's still a big body of something that's affecting our entire being in some way or another. And so it's waves in and out, you know, it's phases. They affect, you know, they send waves. So we got to go with the flow. And so we can't just be ignorant about, you know, oh, well, it's artificial. Regardless of whether it's artificial or not, everything is made by God. Everything. So regardless of whether man made it or not, where do you think they got the materials to make it? So
Exactly.
I know, that's my point. That's what I've been thinking about a lot lately, is
Yeah.
that, you know, even if things are bad for us and they're toxic and they're in the environment, but they still were manifested and created by God. Everything in our entire field, everything that exists, whether we judge it or good or bad, as good or bad, it is all from God. And so, you know, even the darkness is just a separation from that, you know. So
Exactly.
yeah.
Yeah.
And when you
But
change your perspective on things, it definitely changes everything. So anyway, I'm all over the place. Hit me, Joy, if you wanna reel me back in. You know, I'm just, you know what it is I'm flying high with the energies. I've got my crystals and they talk to me. Oh my gosh. Okay, I'm a total weirdo. Just this is my little disclaimer, guys. I believe that crystals are living beings. I believe the sun is a living being. I believe the moon is a living being. Um, and I definitely have communication with them, telepathic communication. They don't, you know, open their mouth and start speaking to me. I don't see them moving around and doing those things, but I do believe that they have a frequency, they have a resonance, and that I can connect with them if I choose to. And so they're hanging out with me today, and sometimes they can be a little loud and a little buzzy, and they make me feel a little high. So especially because I've got clear quartz out here right now, and that's like really high vibe. So if I'm all over the place, that explains.
that's okay.
Oh,
Yeah. And
yeah.
honestly, that's what the full moon does. The full moon comes in and amplifies energy. So, regardless of if you believe it or not, people will fly off the handle. They'll feel a lot of anxiety. They'll
Oh yeah.
feel a
Just
lot of
ask
energy
this off.
today. It affects us whether we want to acknowledge it or not. It just does. And that's the energy that we feel. Like for myself, and this goes into the chakra centers because it lights up your energy. And what do I mean by that? That means that your chakra centers get lit up. Your literal light body. We have a Merkaba, if you want to go all the way out there. We do,
Oh,
and this we get
yep.
lit up by the moon and the
Mhm.
energy. And so right now, like you may feel like you have to pee a lot, or
Oh
the
yeah.
opposite. You may have
That makes
to,
sense.
feel like you need to empty your body. You
A lot
may
of
feel,
releasing.
mhm. And that's your energy too. That's like your energy being lit up. That's
It's
your root chakra,
It's
you know?
funny that you talk about the Merkaba too, because I took some pictures of the sun earlier this morning, and it looked like the sun had a toroidal field around it. Like, you
Yeah,
know,
I saw those. Those are so amazing. And
I know. I
honestly,
was like, if
I
you don't
feel
believe that the sun is a living, breathing, alive being, look at this toroidal field around it. It's right there. It's showing
well,
you that
just
it has an
that we're
energetic
on
body.
a planet. We're on a living, breathing planet,
Yes. Yeah.
it's like. And the thing about that is that they know who we are. They know us by name. They don't know our human very well. I mean, Earth does, but they know who we are, our spiritual self, our
We're
light
children
body,
of the
our
sun,
true
for sure.
self, you
Yep.
know? But anyways, so let's get back here. So full moon, and I know that I was being led towards talking about sobriety too. So I feel like we'll talk about that later too.
Mhm.
But so for full moon, so if I mean, what we do for this is we get rid of stuff because it's like your body's lit up, it's on fire, it's ready to burn those emotions and get rid of them. So let the emotions come up and get rid of it. If the thought comes up, just think about it, try to feel it, process it, and then let it go. Okay, those are things that need to be processed, whether they're yours or not. It doesn't matter if it's your thoughts or your emotions. Sometimes we're a magnet for things like that, aren't we? Yes. And
Mhm.
the full moon magnifies that. Like we're literally being lit up. So it
Well,
helps to lean, and this is how I had to learn, because I had been diagnosed with general anxiety, and basically what I'm feeling is my energy. I'm actually literally feeling my solar plex in particular. It's your solar plex that gets lit up and causes energy, and you feel it and you're like, oh my God, what is this? And you're kind of frightened. That's the anxiety. You don't know what it is. It's the fear of the unknown. But if you just lean into that energy, and you can turn that energy into excitement, because it's the literal same thing. It's the same feeling, but in a positive way. So you can take your anxiety, oh my God, what's going to happen, and say, instead, and this goes along with the cards I drew too, instead, trust. You need to trust, lean into that feeling, feel into it, think into it. Don't try to get rid of it by taking a Xanax or a pill. Don't try to get rid of it. Actually feel into it. Why am I feeling that? And then the thoughts will come, your guides will come in, you know, your body will start speaking to you if you listen and try not to. It's tired. Your body, I'm going to speak for your body for 2 seconds. Your body is tired of being shut up. Your body is tired of the Tylenol because you don't fucking listen. You need to take a break and sit down. Your body is tired of all the fucking poison. That's why you get nausea and you have to run to the bathroom and have IBS. Stop giving it poison. Your body will speak to you if you listen. Your body is really tired of you not listening. They will literally have a procedure. They have a procedure. Listen to this. It's the insanity that the medical field does. And you have a lot of pain in your back. Maybe you need to take a break. Your body's trying to tell you, slow down, take a break, lean into the feeling. Why am I feeling this? Instead, what does the medical field do? They try to get your body to shut the fuck up. Take a pill, it'll shut this up.
Well,
and then
you wouldn't be a good worker bee if you didn't keep working.
Right? They cut the nerves. They'll go into your body and cut the fucking nerves off.
Okay.
So you can't feel it anymore.
Ridiculous. I remember reading about this guy who was born without the ability to feel pain. And he would actually bite his tongue off, like bite his lips off, because he could not feel the pain. He could not stop himself. There's a reason that our body signals to us that we are in pain, and it's to stop.
Usually
not because we need to be afraid of something, but because it's a signal that says, here's a stop sign. Don't go that way because you're going to get hit by a bus.
Right?
You know, and you might just get hit by a bicyclist. It might not be a bus every time. You know what I mean? Like it might be something small.
Exactly.
But
so like
you're hurting yourself. Yeah.
We need to feed into that energy instead of trying to shut it up. If you're nauseous, watch what you're eating. Maybe you need to stop eating for a minute. We have been so programmed to eat, feed, cattle. You know, stop it. We are not made, or your body doesn't need to eat 3 times a day. Now, I'm not speaking for children.
Energy work, I'm not eating that often. Yeah. I mean, I will go the entire day. The other day I was in the garden and I did not eat for, I don't think until 4. You
don't have to eat.
5 o'clock in the afternoon.
The higher your vibration, the less you eat. Look, the higher your vibration, the less you eat. That is just how it is. That's how my evolution has been. You know, I gave up soda first. That was the first thing in 2017 or 18.
Yeah, me too.
That was the first thing that was gone. And then after that, it was sugar. And then, you know, after that in 2020, I started fasting. So I fast every single day. You know, so yes, I do eat crap sometimes and sugar treats and stuff because I know I can clean it out and raise my vibes. But anyway, so we're getting with that. Hold on.
Well, one thing I want to mention about the soda is that we breathe in oxygen. Why would we want to put carbon? You know,
it's carbonated. Yeah.
That's not good for you. You know, we need oxygenated, you know, and then I see things that are antioxidants. I'm like,
we need alkaline. Yeah, we need alkaline. Yeah. We need to be more alkaline, less acidic. Anyways, yeah, look into that stuff. I mean, don't Google it because Google loves to misinterpret things and twist things around, like autophagy. Autophagy is a point where your body will literally clean itself out from any bad cells. Anything that doesn't belong in your body, it'll start cleaning itself out. You have to reach that autophagy. It's like 18 hours to 24 plus hours of not eating. Your body will start cleaning itself out. Immediately will start eating the shit that it doesn't need in itself. Okay, so that's the first step. And then once you start doing that, your body's lighter. And then you realize you don't really need to eat that much. And you're just like, why am I constantly eating? I'm just grazing on crap. And that's because we're on autopilot.
The thing for me though is that I don't make it a discipline. I don't, because then that takes, you know what I mean? I go with what I naturally feel. If I feel hungry, I eat. Um if I'm feeling hungry, I'll ask myself, am I craving salt? Am I craving sugar? Because if I'm craving salt, it just means I'm thirsty. If I'm craving sugar,
Let your body be
I
hungry
feel like
though.
if
What's
my
wrong with that?
yeah, well, sometimes I feel like there's parasites that crave the sugar, and so I'll ask myself, is it salt or
Yes.
sugar that I'm craving? And so are the parasites signaling me to eat? And then I'll ask,
You're
or I'll
acknowledging
look
you're
for
there,
fresher food.
but if you continue to fast, your body will get rid of those, and you don't need them in your body. You can listen to your body instead of the parasites. Like literally, just go a little bit longer without eating. Put it off like an hour. It won't hurt you. I'm not kidding. Put off eating for an hour and see if you're still hungry, and you probably won't be. It's because we're automatically programmed to eat. Oh my god, if I don't eat, I'm gonna be hungry. Oh my god, if I'm hungry, that's bad, I'm starving. Oh my god. No, it's okay to be hungry. It's okay if your body feels empty. It's
Well,
okay for you to
the
feel
thing
light.
is that we're not really hungry. We're just bored, or we're
That's
programmed to
why I
think
said
that
put
we're
it off.
hungry.
Yeah.
It's not always that we're hungry. And sometimes we eat so often that our body's trained, so we have to break that cycle.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's not that we're starving. We're not dying right now from not
But
eating a meal or
Google
putting it off
autophagy.
for 2 hours.
If
We're
you Google autophagy, it'll tell you that you're starving and you're causing harm to your body. So please don't do that. Go to an actual holistic site or something like that
Oh no,
where it'll give you facts.
I remember my
Not
grandmother.
you, but people.
My
People.
grandma was a nurse, and she would always tell me, you cannot go without eating breakfast because your brain will have no fuel and it will eat itself,
Yeah,
and
okay.
you'll make yourself sick. And this is the things that we're told, and she was told
By
this
the WHO. The
by the
WHO
health,
is
yeah,
what teaches the medical system they need to know.
exactly,
Okay.
the Rockefeller paid medical system.
Yay. We could go all day in that, but
Yes, who
yeah.
owns the farm?
So,
Who started the medical system?
yeah,
Decided.
anyway, so yeah, we'll get
Anyway,
back on that
yeah.
one. Okay,
Well,
so
that's the wormhole you guys can have fun on later on.
but the most
Find
important
something to
thing to
fun to
take
do.
out of that, right? The most important thing to take from that is to listen to your body. Okay, once you start getting rid of the food in your body, you can listen to it a lot clearer. The voice that your body has gets a lot louder and you're able to hear it better. And the more you do it, the more constantly in tune you are with your body and you can hear what it needs. If your body's in pain, it's just something that you need to listen to. If your body has an issue, it's something that you need to pay attention to. Your attention, your perception, your very this is so hard to put into English words. Hold
Our
on.
bodies are a very smart, very intelligent machine or computer that knows how to function without our awareness of it. And so we don't need to be aware of what we're doing, to make our heart beat, to make the blood flow, to digest the food. We're not aware of these things happening. Our body is so intelligent that it does these things for us. And so we have to give it a little bit of credit, and and a little bit of love too. You have to talk to yourselves, talk to your body and say, I'm grateful for you. Thank you. Thank you for digesting my food. Thank you for making my heart beat. Thank you for making these things flow. It's just like we talk to our water. You can talk to the cells in your body and ask them to start healing, activate that healing in your body,
Yeah,
activate your
listen,
body.
just to me, you don't. This is. I have to be careful with my wording here. I have to be very careful with my wording. So we don't need outside entities to be put into our bodies to heal us. We don't need that. God is a better creator than humans in their mind. Okay, human mind. I'm going to say that again. God is a better creator than the human mind when it's been led astray and poisoned and programmed and conditioned. Do you understand? So I would go with what God intended, which is for the body to heal itself. And what Reiki and energy healers do is they facilitate a space for your body to heal itself. Okay, so when I say I'm a healer, like I say on my page and stuff, and I might be rewording everything, it's that I am helping you. Becky and I are helping you heal yourself,
Activate your own healing,
facilitating your space so that your body can heal itself. And that's what we do. All of the Reiki practitioners do that.
For example, my husband the other night, and he does not believe in Reiki. He does not believe in energy healing. He thinks it's all voodoo and make believe and unicorns and rainbows. But either way, I gave him a Reiki session because he was not feeling well. He says it relaxes him, but that's about as far as it goes. Now, my intention is to help him to facilitate his own healing, but he has to be consenting and willing to allow that Reiki energy to heal him. So that Reiki energy doesn't go anywhere. It's sitting there waiting for him to have a moment where he believes in something. So and when he's ready, it will be there. It'll just all stack up and pile up and wait for him. And when he's ready for that healing, it'll start healing. Now, I'm not saying that it doesn't do anything, because on small levels, and his higher self, who I communicate with, he does believe in these things. So I know that there is a small amount of healing, but the belief has to be there as well. And so if you're going into a Reiki session believing that this is not going to work, that this is all, hoopla, you're hurting yourself. You're not going in
Setting
there.
yourself up. Yeah, you need to be open enough, willingness to be willing to allow the healing to happen. At least that little tiny space of the willingness to be willing lets God work. Okay, so you're giving God space. That is allowing God to get in there and work. And actually, what is it? We can heal ourselves because why? We were created. Why? Because God created us. Why? Because God is in us. So we have that in us already.
We are divine. We are divine sparks, divine, however you want to look at it. We are little, like, okay, this is how I like to envision it. Okay, God is a big giant puzzle, like a puzzle that's all put together. Okay, in one form, he's a completed puzzle. And before there were even the lines cut out for the puzzle, he was a big picture. Okay, and he decided that he wanted to make himself into smaller pieces so that he could look at himself. He could experience himself, see himself. So he created division, created lines, created those little, I don't know what they're called in the puzzle pieces, but created the little ins and outs where they could go in and out of one another and fit together, but they're all different. Each piece is different. Each piece goes together, but we are all one little piece. Some of us are bigger pieces than others, and some of us are little tiny pieces. And I'm talking about light when I'm talking about these puzzle pieces. We're little tiny pieces of light. And so some of us can activate that and become a bigger puzzle piece. Some of us can stay small and stay this tiny little puzzle piece. But regardless, we all have these little tiny pieces of God, and that is us. And so when we are all one, we are all God. And so we're all little mini creators in this plane. Our reality, our personal reality, our personal dream that we're living in, we are the God of that reality. And so our words create, our thoughts create, and our manifestations, everything, that all of our energy, it's all creating our little world. And then the issue is that we have billions of other people who have their own little worlds, and then our bubbles all collide. And so then that creates this big thing.
That's quantum entanglement. Yay. And that's your quantum session today, or your quantum teaching. Yeah, and that's how quantum world works.
I hope that made sense. I was just trying to explain too much.
Yeah, no, it did. Hold on one second. I wanted to write, because I write affirmations for my kids on my mirrors, and I wrote that when I create with my words and thoughts. Isn't that awesome? I create with my words and thoughts. So my kids know that whatever they say comes back to them. Also, what was it?
And our thoughts have a vibration as well. When you're thinking a thought, and then all of a sudden that thing happens, and you're like, oh my gosh, was somebody listening to me? Sometimes they are. Gonna go there. Sometimes it's you're that powerful, and give yourself that credit. Say thank you. When that's the most important thing for manifestation for me. When I see that thing come into form, I show gratitude for it, because then I'm creating more of it. Because if someone gives a child a gift and that child says, oh, I hate this, or they say, oh, I already have one of these, or they don't say anything at all, are you going to be willing, or is that going to bring you joy to give them another gift right afterwards? No.
Not like that. No.
You're going to be like, no, I don't want to give this child a gift. They're ungrateful for the gift I gave them. So, or they abused it, or they threw it away, or they didn't want it. So I'm not going to give them another one, until they ask for another one. And then maybe they change. But so that's why it's important for me to always give gratitude, because I want to be that child that's beaming and it's like, oh my gosh, thank you. This is the best thing in the whole world. Because then the universe is going to be more willing and more wanting to manifest, allow those manifestations to happen. So that's just my childlike thought on that.
Oh, awesome. No, that was beautiful, I think. But yeah, I feel like once, and this is why this is important. Like, look, our inner world, what's inside of you, how you feel inside, creates your world around you. So if you feel chaotic, you're going to create chaos around you. It's going to feel chaotic. If you feel, and you're going to see that too in your world. If you feel peaceful, you're going to see that in your reality, and because our inner world,
we're in control of those feelings too. And that's the thing, is that just because you have a feeling doesn't mean that you have to continue with that feeling. We can control how we feel. If you want to feel happiness, then feel happiness. Do something to create happiness, and then you feel happy. I mean, people are like, oh, I'm so miserable. Well, what is it that you're doing? Are you laying in bed all day? Are you watching Netflix 8 hours a day? Are you working way too hard? Are you not finding a moment? And there are people that don't have a choice. They have to work in this 3D world, or they believe that they have to work. And so they make every excuse why they can't take a bath at night and light a candle. They make every excuse why they can't. Well, those are the reasons that you're not finding joy. You have to do little things, whether it's just taking 5 minutes to take a conscious breath, go into the bathroom while you're at work, take a deep breath in, a deep breath out, and say, I am wonderful. I am beautiful. I am a good person. Say something loving to yourself. And just that moment, there's no excuse why we cannot change our circumstances, our realities, one small thought at a time, one small word at a time. And I love that. That's beautiful that you're putting those affirmations on the mirrors. I think I might do that. I've got a little chalk marker, one of those dry erase chalk markers or whatever. And it looks great on the mirrors. I've done that before. But I might write Chelsea a little note for when she gets home. Because it's important that we, I don't want to say like teach our children, but it's important that we encourage our children to view the world in a different light, not the light that they're being taught.
Yeah, just like last night, I was talking to my husband about negative reinforcement or positive reinforcement. He was talking to his friend about passing a test. He said, well, if you don't pass the test, I'm going to kick your ass. I said, well, wouldn't positive reinforcement be better? And this is stuff I've learned in counseling and stuff, So positive reinforcement is, instead of saying, I'm going to kick your ass if you don't pass, instead, when you pass, I'm going to take you out for coffee, or I'm going to take you out for cake. It's that right there, that positive reinforcement, it can make all the difference. Instead of turning it from focusing on the negative, we're focusing on the positive. I mean, and that's just little stuff that we could do for our kids every single day.
When you do the negative reinforcement, what it echoes back to for me is you're bad. You're bad. You're not good enough. If you fail this test, you're not good enough to be my friend. So I'm going to kick your ass because of that.
Yeah. And that's
so when you change it around, and it's like, okay, I'm going to congratulate you for your successes, and I'm not going to focus on you failing. I'm going to focus on your success. And if you don't, then that's fine. You could try again. You know what I mean? Like that's something that I have to work on with my daughter too, and that I do is the positive.
It's true, but I mean, honestly, these are things that we're taught in like Psychology 101. This is things you're taught. We're taught Pavlov's conditioning, and it can be positive reinforcement is way better effective than negative. And that's why when you see rats in a maze and they're being shocked, I mean, that's a negative reinforcement. If you see
you're
them
going
in the
from
maze,
fear or love, it's one or the other. Negative is fear, and positive is love. So what works better, motivating somebody with fear or motivating someone with love? I mean, it really is that basic. If you motivate your children with love and affirmations, as opposed to, punishments and pain, they're going to not only respond better to what you're requesting, but they're going to have a better outlook on the world and a better
of course, you're reinforcing the positive behavior and not the negative behavior, because when you're focusing on the negative behavior, you're perpetuating that. If you're focusing on the positive behavior, you're perpetuating that. So I would prefer to focus on positive reinforcement for myself, which is taking my kids to the park on Saturday after the end of a hard week, regardless of their behavior, because they made it through the week regardless. They did what was expected of them, and they should be positive reinforced.
Because I have a situation with Kelsey that happened yesterday. She got into paint with her friend, and her entire playground, her swing set, has handprints all over it. Their clothes had handprints all over them. Her shoes had handprints all over them. There was paint on our doorknob, on our back door, in the bathroom, all over the bathroom. I mean, thank goodness that I buy tempera paint because it washes off. But she still knows the rules. She's not supposed to get into paint without permission, and they were covered in it. So my first reaction was, I went ape shit. Sorry for the words, it's bad words, but I went ballistic. I was extremely upset, and I had this feeling of overwhelming anger. And of course, my husband is in the background going, if you did something like this, what would your mother do to you? And my immediate thought after that was, I need to change the way I respond to this, because I don't want to perpetuate the same thing that happened with me and the trauma that I had to endure. Now, I'm not saying that I can save my daughter from every trauma, and I'm not going to be perfect and not have outbursts and, and get upset, but I don't want her to grow up believing that a lot of the things that I believe, or that I have believed in the past about not being good enough, about not measuring up, never being accepted, never being loved, and constantly having to people please for validation and acceptance and love. In this 3D world, we're taught that approval is love, that acceptance is love, that if you get an A on a test, that's love, and that's not. That is you accomplished something, you achieved something, that's great, but that's not love. That is the 3D versions, 3D world's version.
Just like my son, he wanted, Zoe got an award. So we went to a special night and she got an award and all of that. And he felt bad. And I said, why do you feel bad? And he said, well, I wanted to get an award. I said, if you want an award, you have to work towards that. I said, if you want an award, you tell your teacher that you want to work towards an award in whatever subject you feel comfortable in working hard in. And that's how you do that. He said, oh, so I gave him his power back. He has the power to change that. If he wants an award, he can work towards getting an award, and I know he'll get one. And you know what? He brought home an award the second week for reading. And it was the same subject that Zoe got. And well, no, hers was writing, sorry. But yeah, seriously.
I could really go on a tangent with the whole awarding children for their academic success thing.
But every single child has the ability to do it, though. See,
I know, but it's like you're giving rats treats. Not your children. I'm just saying, like the whole academic system.
I understand this. Trust me, I understand the system. That's why I am here. My kids are in public schools just like I was, but guess what? I'm different. I am actively raising my children. I am not on autopilot. I don't neglect them. I work with them. If they bring home things, I teach. I try to just stay on top of things. And my kids I teach them to question everything. I said, don't just take other people's word for it. And then she does it to me, and like she questions me. She's like, question everything, Mom.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Yeah, please do though. Please
Well,
do though.
I think it's important that they get balance and exposure to the real world, because they're going to have to deal with it. We cannot
Yeah.
shelter and shield
Why
our
am I?
children
Yes.
and keep them in
Yes.
a bubble. And then when they go out into the real world, they're like, what the fuck? This is
That's what
nuts,
happened
right?
to me.
Sorry
Well,
for my
that's what
language.
happened to me.
What the heck is this? Why are people so negative? What is this? Because they haven't been exposed to it. So with my
Yep.
daughter, what I like to do, send her out into the world, let her learn, and then when she comes home, she has a safe space where she can share with me, where
Yep.
she can be open with me, so we can talk about things, and we can come up with healthy ways of dealing with issues.
Because
She was in counseling. She was in
Mhm.
counseling for a long time. The counseling's been not so great lately. They've been going through staffing issues, and so she's been without a counselor for the last 6 months. It's been hit or miss. They come and pull her from class every so often, and this is a therapy place that goes to the school, but they've been having issues with staffing. So anyway, so I talked to her the other night, and she's really upset because she's had no one to talk to. And I said, you can come and talk to me, and we can come up with some different ways of coping with these things. And not that I feel like I'm a counselor, but I like my daughter to have a safe space where she can talk to me about some issues, and then we can come up with holistic and healthy ways of dealing with things, because that's really what I would prefer. I would prefer my daughter to come to me and let's come up with a solution that's not 3D based. Now her old counselor, I loved her. She's now the school guidance counselor. So she went from the therapy the company that does the therapy, or the medical people, to working as the guidance counselor. So she still has that support there, which I absolutely love. But my anticipation is when she gets to be about middle school age, I'm probably going to homeschool her. That's been what I've wanted to do for a long time. But I want her to have a basis in what real school looks like, and then to see if she wants to homeschool, maybe try it in 6th grade and see if that's even something that she wants to do. But I like to give her those decisions and those choices that are on a small scale and within boundaries, for her to be able to make her own decisions in life, because she is ultimately going to have to make her own decisions in life. And I don't want to leave her unprepared for decision making, because I didn't know how to do anything. Nobody taught me anything. I was raised on TV. And when I went out into the world, I didn't know how to function. I didn't know how to do any of that. And that's a lot of the issues that I've had.
I mean, yeah, truly. And I found out I'm high functioning. I'm actually high functioning autistic, and I have ADHD, and I have problems with decision making. And so because of that, I didn't really get the help that I needed at the time, So unfortunately, I was making decisions with a broken mind without any supervision. I don't know how to put it. Like how that was the rebel in me too, because I just knew that I was here for more than I could see, like I knew inside I had a mission. I knew that I had things to do while I was here. And I did my best to follow my heart the entire time, and that's the thing with our kids too. They have a mission, they know why they're here, and they know exactly what to do. So it's like we need to support them so that they can do their mission, not necessarily tell them what they need to do, but like you said, help them with the decisions that they have so that they can make the best decisions for themselves.
Well,
And
so that they
that's,
can feel
I missed out a
confident.
lot on that. I didn't have that. I got told what I was going to do, and that was it. And if I didn't do it, then I didn't get love. I didn't get approval. I didn't get validated. See what I'm saying? So
Yes.
then here I am as a teenager seeking approval, seeking validation
And we're
outside
done.
my family because I didn't get it at home. Okay. And so the first thing I did was run to boys, and I thought sex was and so what I do, I get pregnant right away,
Yeah, because you
and
want somebody to love
and
you,
then I'm
and
going
so you fall for
poor
it.
decisions, backed up with poor decisions, backed up with poor decisions, backed up with poor decisions, and no guidance. And my parents were Christians. What, praying for me? You think praying is going to do something for me without taking action? Praying does nothing.
Yeah,
And I don't know who needs to hear this, but if you pray and sit around and pray on your hands and do nothing, it's going to do nothing.
Well, it's just like saying sorry. If
Absolutely
you
nothing.
say you're sorry and don't follow it by action, by changing your behavior, then it means nothing. If you, um, you know, if you do anything and then don't follow it by action, if you say I love you and don't follow it by acting in a loving way, then it
Mhm.
means nothing. You have to not only say the words, but then take the steps.
Yeah.
It's not just about words. My husband says to me all day long, I love you, I love you, I love you. And I'll say, but your actions are not loving. And that's the difference, is that I try to act the way that I feel and bring that into manifestation, bring that into my reality, manifest that into my reality. That's what I meant to say.
Yeah.
Um,
No, you're
you know,
good.
it's my husband is a slow learner, but he does pick up, and it's funny because I'll catch him and he'll say, oh, I'm tired, and then he'll change and he'll say, oh, I shouldn't say that. I'll say I'm awake, or I'm I'm energized, and he'll say like little things like that I know I planted that seed that's changed the way that he thinks.
Yep.
And so it's not going to be an overnight thing with the people around us, but I am noticing that a lot of people in my family are perking up, and they're making better choices just by watching my choices, not by me telling them anything, but just by watching me be my authentic self and shining my light. They're saying, oh, that looks appealing. And instead of now, instead before it was like, something's wrong with her, she's crazy.
Yes.
Now
I
it's
don't
like,
know who needs to hear this, but taking responsibility for your child's choices. Taking responsibility for your child's choices is narcissism. I don't know who needs to hear that. And that hit home with me. And I'm going to be honest, that hit home with me. So I was taking responsibility for shit I didn't need to take responsibility for. So I had a lot of learning to do, and the kids are here to be guided. We're here to help them, in this 3D life, the best of our ability. And that's all we can do is have the best intentions.
well, that's the
Okay.
thing too. We came here with we signed up for this. We knew what our life was going to be about. We knew, that's when we're talking about growing up and dealing with the traumas. I'm grateful for the traumas that I dealt with. I'm not trying to raise my child differently because I want to be better than my mom. That's not the issue
I
here. It's
do.
that,
I actually do. I'm sorry. I do want to be better than my mom and dad. No, no, no. And it's a good thing. I don't want to perpetuate the same energy they did. I want to make sure that the faults that I see in them, I heal in myself so that I don't perpetuate it in my kids. If I can
yeah.
heal that and just understand that they did the best that they could with what they had, which wasn't very much. Our ancestors and our parents dealt with a lot of shit they had no idea of anything about. I mean, just look at where we're at. For those of us that are awake, just look at where we're at. And those of us that are awake, we can look at our parents and our ancestors with peace and love and understand that,
Yeah. And
damn, I
that's where
can't
I'm coming
believe
from,
that.
saying I can look at it with gratitude. Now, not saying that I
Yeah.
want my child to experience those things. And I don't mean like better than, I
Oh,
mean,
no,
I
I
just
get it.
want to be different. I want to be healthier.
No.
I'm not making judgments on my childhood. What I'm saying is that I want my child to have better options. I want my
Yep.
child to have better skills, to have the ability to have those things available and not have things drilled down her throat. I've been dealing with throat chakra healing for the last 2 weeks, and I realized the other night why. It's been drilled down my throat, literally, my whole life. Religion, expectations,
Yep.
rules,
Yes.
schooling, education, all of these things have been drilled down our throats to the point where we've been silenced. And
Yeah.
so my intentions now are to no longer sit back and allow anyone, or myself even, to drill anything down anybody's throats, and to allow that free flow of truth, not expectations, not misinformation, just truth from the heart of love. And so that's how I try to operate
Yeah,
with
absolutely. With peace. Yeah, with peace and honor. And just know that, like, they did the best they could. We're doing the best that we can,
we honor our
kids are
parents
also doing the best
by
that they can.
acknowledging that they are human. They have faults. They did not have the opportunities that we have been given. They didn't have the awakening that we've gotten to experience. And so I can forgive them because they didn't know. They didn't understand. They still don't know, and they still don't understand. And I can forgive them for that because, you know, because they're imperfect humans, just like me, you know?
Yep.
I'm
Exactly.
definitely not perfect. And one day I hope my daughter can look at me and say, you know, I love you regardless of your flaws, because
Yeah.
God knows I have them. You know, I can never be a perfect parent. We need to get rid of this idea
Well,
of
we
perfection or
just talked about that
justice.
too, huh? We just talked about that synchronicity because we were talking about perfectionism, or thinking you have to be perfect is a trauma response to people who had a problem with things in you, and
Yep.
actually something that you need to accept, yeah,
And one
in
thing that
yourself.
people don't talk about is parenting. Is
Mhm.
everybody puts on this false bravado, this false mask that they're the perfect parents, and we're not. We
No,
all fuck up constantly, left and right. We know there's no one guidebook, because every child is different, every parent is different, every situation is different. There's no right way or one wrong way. It's whatever is your way, and that's the way that it's going to be.
yeah,
Even if
that's
it's a
why it's
traumatic
just,
experience, that's what's meant to happen. So
yeah.
forgive and let it go.
Exactly. I'm just laughing. I wasn't laughing at you, but I was just laughing at the realization, of just, it's okay. It's okay. Just,
What?
it's okay to just be, just acceptance and be. But real quick, I do wanted to backtrack a little bit. So, we talked about full moon. We talked about manifestation with the energy, which is fantastic energy to use. Also, goal setting. So, goal setting is something that we didn't really call it goal setting. We were calling it manifestation. And I wanted to just talk about that for a second, because we talk about manifestation, this and that. But it's kind of funny because when I was in school, it's called goal setting. And honestly, when you go to therapy, you have a goal. There's usually a goal in mind. And honestly, how lost are we if we don't have a goal? Having a goal or having a dream or having a want, a manifestation is normal human behavior. And while we're plugged into the matrix, usually it's more a bigger house, a bigger car, the more cars, the boat, the whatever,
All about
right?
material
Right.
things
It's
that
all
don't
about
make it
money,
work.
right?
Yeah.
Yes. But is it satisfying? And if you go to the people who have all those things, they're going to tell you, no, it's not satisfying.
No, people
Over
that
time,
have it all seem to be the most miserable sometimes. Not all of them. I'm not overgeneralizing. I'm just saying.
yeah, just whoever resonates. But yeah, it's like, look, have a goal in mind, write those goals down, have a visualization, have a want, be grateful for the things that you have, and be grateful for the things that you don't have, and see what happens. I read a meme, and it said, try to go 24 hours without complaining and see what happens. Go 24 hours without complaining and see what happens.
Oh,
Let's
I
try
know.
it and
I'm
see what happens.
constantly aware that my daughter and my husband, and this is me complaining about them right now, but
Ah.
they do operate instead of out of gratitude, out of complaints, and out of I want to say a complaint is like the
Out
opposite
of
of
lack.
making, yeah, it's the opposite of saying I'm grateful. It's
Yeah.
saying I'm ungrateful. You know what I mean? Instead of saying thank you or looking at the positive, it's saying everything's terrible, and then not realizing that they're creating more of the terrible that they don't want by acknowledging that, you know.
Yes, that's why I write those affirmations. I feel like, and I ask from my spirit, like, spirit, what do I need to write for them? What is it that they need to see? And I put, I am enough. I am valid. I matter. I am loved. Those are just so important, but at the core of who we are, our inner child, those are feelings that we need to have. We need to feel secure. We need to feel warm. We need to feel intimacy. Um, those are things that go along with positive reinforcement as well, but also just normal human behavior is kindness, loving. That's what we're trying to get back to.
Operate
Let's.
out of love instead of fear with your children and with everyone, with yourself. I think it starts with yourself, honestly, because if we're treating ourselves in an unloving way but trying to be loving towards our children, they're going to get the brunt of that, because we're going to lash out. There's going to be a moment when we're overtired, when we're overstressed, when we're overworked, where we say something short, or, they come to us and they say, look, mommy, I made this for you. And it's like, no, I'm tired. I don't want to look at that right now.
It's
That,
true.
that causes a lot of damage to your children, whether you're aware of it or not. Just, not looking up from your phone when your child's trying to talk to you and they're coming to you telling you about all the silly things from their day that are not important to you, but it's important to them, and you're looking at your phone and you cannot look up from your phone for 1 second. And I'm so guilty of doing this. I'm like, hold on, I'm busy, and she's just so excited to talk to me. And it's like, if you think about it, that little child, that little person you're their entire world, and they are so excited to share with you their day. And if
Yeah.
you shut them down and tell them that you're too busy, then what do you think that that's doing to their mental state? It's
Breaking
telling
their
them
heart.
that they're not enough.
Literally breaking you're chipping away at their self-esteem. You're chipping
Yeah.
away at their spirit. You're chipping away at how they view the world. Because like you said, as within, so without.
Mm-hmm.
As above, so below, as below, so above. I mean, that's universal law. As within, so without. Inner
As above, so
creates
below.
outer. How you feel inside creates your outer world. And that's how if we are damaging or destroying or causing disappointment, then we need to probably take a look at that and maybe take a change, maybe spend time with them. Like for myself, and I'm 100% guilty of that,
Yeah.
because
And
I've been disassociated the past 3 years.
yeah,
And what
that's
do you think
definitely
that's
more
done?
critical.
Yeah,
Sorry.
it's no, it's fine. But I'm like, how does that affect my family? Like, of course, I obviously can acknowledge that I'm in counseling. And if I'm in counseling, I'm going to acknowledge that my children probably need to be in counseling as well. And so I'm looking at that, and it's their choice ultimately, but I want them to ultimately have that option, because it's a safe space for they could talk about me too. They can go in there and talk about me. They can go in there and talk about their dad and be safe. It's a safe place to talk about everybody,
Yeah,
you
and
know?
that's important too, because I can't be that all the time for my child. When she goes into her teenage years, I don't want to know some of the things that she's going through. You know what I mean? I don't want to know all the little details, because it's not my business. She needs a level of privacy that's not my business, and I need to have a separation there, because we are not enmeshed, and that is an unhealthy thing to have, to be all up in control, and knowing every detail of my child's life. She
Yeah,
needs her independence.
think
She
about
needs,
it.
yeah,
Look
she
at
needs to
look
make
at the
her own decisions.
teenagers today. Look at the teenagers today. At our high school here in Yucca Valley, we had 31 fights in one day. 31 fights in one day at Yucca Valley High School. Okay, this is after 2020. Do you really think, our kids, those are going to be adults. Do you think they're going to be upstanding adult citizens working?
Mm-mm.
Do you? No, they're not. And this is what we have to face. Like, I literally have to look at, wow, the world is pretty freaking amazing. Like, but I also want my children to go out there as lights, but to defend themselves. It's up to us also to teach our children how to defend themselves and how to protect themselves energetically, because words do fucking hurt. And I don't care how many times you say, God, what is it? Sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me. Bullshit. Bullshit. Words carry energy.
I
Words are
think
magic.
I would rather have someone hit me than to tell me
Well, yeah,
something
I could
negative about
defend
myself.
myself. Yeah, but if someone throws dirty energy at you constantly and you don't have a way to clean it or protect yourself from it because you weren't taught, that's pretty awful. And that's the shit I had to deal with until
But
I finally figured out how to protect myself. And
I'm gonna rephrase my statement. I don't want anybody to hit me.
yeah, I know. Same. And we know. Our guides know we're being sarcastic, so I'm not even worried about that. But it's like intentions. But truly,
I know.
I was never taught how to deal with my emotions. I was always told to just go away, or go in my room, or deal with my parents. Never even. They'd always told me to stop crying too.
Yes. Oh my gosh, you're throwing yourself a
Don't tell
pity
your kids
party.
to stop crying. That bothers me more than anything. If you tell your kid to stop crying, I just want to punch you in the nose, in all kindness and love, because I was personally told not to cry And I'm a crier. I'm a Pisces rising, and I have all these emotions and feelings, and I'm a light being, and I'm very sensitive. And are you telling me not to cry?
Yeah, my daughter cries a lot, a lot.
Oh, it's just it is. You just have to create space for them and let them cry and out and let them. And sometimes they're gonna cry and they don't know why they're crying.
Well, and
That
sometimes
happens.
it's okay to let them cry. Sometimes my daughter will come in, she's stubbed her toe, and she'll cry for 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Or sometimes, sometimes it's
That's
something
hard
bigger
for
than
me
that.
too. It
But
is. It's hard for me. I got to
yeah,
be honest with you because I was never allowed to feel. Everyone's always told me to shut down. So I had a hard time accepting when other people are having feelings. I always want to make them stop or
yes,
fix
my
it.
husband's
So
very
and
much
you
that way.
can't do that. You have to just let them be and
Mhm.
create a safe space for them and nurture and honor them and let them be. And they'll
I
figure
know.
it out.
Oh, my husband will say, "You're
Time.
babying her." It's like, no, I'm not babying her. That's what he's been told, is that if you
Yeah. Well,
nurture
it's a
somebody that you're babying them, and that's not true.
That's like
That's
they're trying to tell me that to my son. I'm like, no, my son is going to be a tough little guy once he gets out there, but I want him to be in touch with his emotions and not be shut down all the time. If he feels like he needs to cry, I tell my kids, this is what I tell my kids. I tell them to go in private and feel your feelings and then, come to me when you need me. And I will let them do that. And if they're angry, having a bad day, I send them to their room, but I don't tell them how long to stay in there. I just send them in there until they have dealt with their things, have dealt with their feelings, and then they can come back out again.
yeah.
It's like,
That's funny you say that, because my daughter has we came up with a solution that she has when she has an outburst or something, that she can choose whether she wants to go into timeout or she wants to go into her calming corner, which it's the
yeah,
same thing. It's the same thing. But she gets to decide whether she wants to be punished or whether she wants to calm herself down.
yeah.
Um,
See, the positive reinforcement in that is positive reinforcement. Good job, mom. You're doing a good job. We are both doing a good job, and we are never told that as a mom, because look at how much we're overcoming. We're not forcing anything on our kids. Nobody's going to force anything on us, and we're doing the best. So I want to just take this moment, honestly, parents. Fucking, you're a badass. Look at you.
I'm clapping.
Thank
Pat yourself
you.
on the
Your
back.
children, thank you.
If your
The
children
world
are
thanks
alive
you.
and they're breathing, you've done at least something, and you love them, then you've done
And you're not
something.
falling
Look
for
for
these
that
idiotic
something.
things that are causing harm. Thank you. Please, please pay attention to what's going on. Please pay attention to what's going on and don't do what you say, and just think of critically.
Well, and the thing
Think
is not to
critically about the things we
condemn
told.
ourselves for the past mistakes that we've made, because I've made a lot when it comes to raising
Forgive,
my child. What's
forgive
important
yourself.
is that we're still growing, we're still changing, we're still evolving. So are they, and so it doesn't matter what happened before, because from this moment we can make a decision, a conscious decision, to make small changes. It's not going to
Yep,
be overnight, but we can look at things differently and operate from love instead of fear. So
exactly.
when she puts paint all over the playground and all over the house, I can look at it from a place of not that I'm losing control or that I'm afraid that she's going to destroy things. Because at the end of the day, and my husband would kill me for saying this, at the end of the day, my house doesn't matter. It's just a thing. The playground doesn't
She was
matter. Her
expressing
clothes
herself. I
don't
feel like
matter. She had the
she's
biggest smile
decorating
on
it.
her face, and she was so happy. Not that I want her doing things that she knows she's not supposed to do, but she was in a moment of joy, and then it went to she was having joy,
I'm
and then
so
she was punished for being happy, and that's the
That's
way
how I
that
look.
she
Oh
is.
my god. I look at it that way too. Oh my god, I look at it that way too. Oh my god, I look at it the same way. My kids are horsing around and they're being loud and we're trying to have peace, and my husband's worked all day and he's gone. I mean, he's literally gone before the sun comes up and he comes back and it's dark. It doesn't matter. It just is. But he's tired, he wants quiet, and they're horsing around and he's like, "You guys need to be quiet," or whatever it is. And they're just like bummed after that. I'm just like, God, thanks for yelling at them for being kids and happy and
Yeah.
joyous and free. But I can't do that because I also understand that they need to be respectful indoors. We're inside. We need inside voices.
But
And
we
that,
can do something with them to give them a place that is safe for doing that. So, like,
yeah.
for instance, my daughter was coloring or painting on everything. So today, what I want to do with her, because I have to go to the post office and drop something off, what I want to do with her is go and pick out some paints that I know will wash off. And I think we need to finish what she started. I think that we need to finish putting handprints all over her playground. But do it
Yeah,
in a safe way where she's not getting paint everywhere, not all over the house. Show her that she can have that joy and do those things, but
show her how to
show
do
her the
it.
boundaries and how to do it so that she's
That
not getting in
was
trouble for it.
so important. Oh my gosh, I can't tell you how important that is for myself. When I was always told no, no, no. Okay, but no one ever gave me an alternative either. They just said no, and that was the end of it. So with my oldest, I learned right away with my oldest, who I had when I was 15. She's 30 this year. Holy crap! But one of the first things I learned with her was to tell her no and tell her why and give her an alternative. I don't know why it was such a big deal to me, but it was. And it's true. I still use those tactics today. Just no, do this instead because of this. Wow, what a concept, giving your kids wisdom. Oh my God, what a concept. But yeah, I feel like that is so important. As parents today, look at what we're walking through, look at what we are able to accomplish. And I commend you for that, joining her. Just like I do the same thing. Like I try to create a safe, like Zoe, she's a girly girl and she wants to do makeup. And so she's young and she's not going to wear makeup until she's older, but I give her a place for her to do that with me because I'm safe. And she can do that with me, or I'll put silver on her and she can wear it outside and it's not that no one can notice. Or like when she was younger, I used to pretend to put eyeliner on her, and she was like, oh, I love the purple. And she was so cute. She figured it out though. She figured it out because I was doing it with the cap on.
My daughter loves the makeup. She's got it everywhere. And for me, it doesn't really matter to me. I buy her light colored shades, nothing that anybody's ever going to notice. She goes into my makeup and that
She uses mine with my makeup, like with my permission. Yeah.
Yeah, my makeup is expensive.
We do it together. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but she'll I let her do that. My husband hates it. He's like, I can't stand this. Get it off of my daughter.
Yeah, same. But it's like you got to give them space to have to be creative, because if you give them space,
herself. She wants to say, here I am and I'm beautiful. And my husband is, well, you're beautiful without it. And it's yes, she's beautiful without it. But there's nothing wrong with making yourself feel more beautiful. That's what men, I don't think, understand, is that makeup isn't about covering something up. It isn't about hiding. It's that I feel beautiful and I want to accentuate that beauty. Now, there's been times in my past when I've worn way too much makeup and I was hiding, but now I don't really use that much. When I do use it, it's just a little tiny bit. But for women and children, young girls, it's about expression, about self-expression. And so I want to give her that safe space, like you said, where she can do that. But also give her those boundaries to where she's not going into my stuff.
Seriously made those mistakes myself. I have borderline personality disorder, so there have been moments where I completely lost my shit and just screaming at my kids. And then I've caught myself doing that. And this is where I've told my counselor, it's commendable when you can stop and look at yourself in the middle of it and go, fuck, this is not where I want to be. I don't want to do this anymore. And then change the behavior. And it's like, you never have to do that shit ever again. And I apologize to my kids and I've made amends to them. And now, because I know I've been sitting disassociated so long because of my own problems and not having help and support here, I literally, because I'm better now, I'm getting better every single day. And so because I'm doing that, I want to share that joy with my kids. So I take them to the park now and we go and do stuff. I was literally in a spot where I'm waiting for something to happen. And so if you're in that predicament, if you're listening and you're in that predicament where you're just sitting and you're waiting for something to happen, waiting for someone to come save you, waiting for someone to come knock on the door, waiting for that text message, waiting for that phone call, waiting for that messenger to come up on your screen.
Waiting for Ed McMahon to bring Publishers Clearinghouse
Jesus
millions
to
of
come
dollars,
back,
which
or
is
the
a
rapture.
Mandela effect, by the way. But sorry to bring up Mandela effects again.
Oh my God, I know. Or yeah, waiting for Jesus to come, waiting for the UFOs to come, waiting for whoever to show up. Look, if you don't make it happen, it's not going to happen. If
Jesus is
you
coming back through you. Jesus is coming back through us.
You've got to make that visualization. You've got to take the action to make it happen. It's not going to happen for you or to you. Okay. I know because I sat disassociated, and that's part of my autism as well. And it has to do with my decision making. But I didn't know I was autistic. I didn't know I was autistic until I was 45, and I am still 45. So it's very new to me understanding exactly what that means for me, what exactly, and it doesn't matter because we don't need to live in the past. The past is the past. And if you can let it go, that's the best thing. The best thing is to let it go.
I'm burning some lavender. I made these lavender smudge sticks as you're talking, and just feel the peace.
We're carrying it out.
It's wrapped in a purple string or purple yarn to bring in those higher crown chakras and that calming.
Yeah, because we've been through a lot, you guys. We're gonna pull in some positive energy now. I pulled some cards, and I kind of want to go over them because it goes along with what we've been talking about, which is awesome. So the first card I pulled was Breakthrough, which is the collective on both sides, both masculine and feminine, are going through a breakthrough. The walls that have been built by the paradigms we are raised with have been breaking down, and there's a lot of confusion into what was ordinary, what is now, what is normal now. People are going, what's going on? Things aren't feeling right. Things are different. People are experiencing breakthroughs. And when confused, this is what I was taught here very recently, and it really resonated with me. When you're feeling confused or you think you're confused, this is actually a breakthrough. This is your spirit trying to break through years of programming and conditioning and autopilot that the collective has been on in multiple levels, especially here in America. I know it's different levels around the world, but I've really got to talk about America because that's where I'm at. And we here as Americans have been very programmed, very oppressed, because if we weren't programmed by school, we're programmed by religion. If we're not programmed by that, we're programmed by something else. We're programmed by TV. We're programmed by doctors. We're programmed by everything. You know, everyone, our parents, because of their programming, you know, we're just constantly programmed. Right now is a time that the sun is not going to let us rest. There's an uptick in solar flares and energy coming in, which has been gradually increasing the entire time. So no one needs to be alarmed. It's just increasing. And with the solar flares increases our consciousness. So we're getting a broader consciousness that is coming out. But we're noticing that things that were ordinary for us are no longer feeling ordinary. And we need to trust this. I can't even emphasize how much trust we need to have right now, because a lot of us are feeling the void, and the void is in the future what we can't see. Okay. And so the void feels like it's getting bigger, but it's not. It's just that the void is changing because our consciousness is changing and shifting. And so our idea of how things used to be are changing. Okay. So we need to go with that though. Trust that inner intuition, trust it, because it's going to lead us into transformation, which is going to lead us into harmony, which is where source is. Okay. And then once we reach that point of transformation, which we're already in, we're actively in this process of transformation, whether you want to acknowledge it or not, it just is. But we're going to reach this harmony. And because once you go up an octave, we've talked about that, you can't go back down again. So everybody's raising up, and you can't. You can try to hold on to
It's
those
so
old
funny.
paradigms. It's
It's so
not going to
funny
work.
that you said that, because I was the other night I was looking up, what was I looking up? Return to sender on Google, and all of a sudden the spell popped up that said reverse awakening spell. And I read it, and I kicked myself for reading it, and I was like, that's so stupid. I'm not gonna reverse my awakening's not gonna reverse just because this stupid thing on Google wanted to pop up. Nice try.
That's interesting. Very interesting. But it's true. They're constantly throwing things like at us. And but unfortunately, and this goes back to something we touched on earlier. Unfortunately, everything that they've tried to throw at us that caused us harm is actually helping wake us up and make
Yeah.
us even stronger
That's
and
the
more
funny part,
powerful.
is that the
So,
trauma that they sent to defeat us made us stronger so that we're prepared.
yeah. And now all that did was increase source energy within us, which what? You can't stop that. Once we have source energy in us and we start multiplying that source energy, which is our light body, literally there's no going back. So everything that you are holding on to, your old paradigms, ideas that you used to have about people, places, things attached, just let them go, because everything is changing so fast right now. What tomorrow isn't going to feel the same as today, and we're just constantly increasing. The sun has reached a point. What is it? I can't think of the word. What am I trying to say? Anyways, the soul. It's saying. I love
High
trying to put this
times,
into
Sunrise
English.
energy.
Like trying to put this in English. Hold on. Let me just grasp it. It's funny because sometimes these concepts are just out of reach for me. Anyways, it doesn't matter. Source is in all of this, you guys. The baddies even have source in them. You know what I mean? So it's just.
Yeah, and that's what I do. I pray. I don't pray for anything bad to happen to them. I pray that the light wakes up in them. I don't pray for destruction of them. I pray that the light, and I envision the light in their mind growing and getting big. So I envision the darkness turns into light. So my goal isn't to defeat anybody. We're not going to war. This isn't a spiritual
We're not.
battle in the sense that we're going to fight with swords
Guns.
and
Yeah.
guns or
Yeah.
bombs or atomic weapons or any of that. We're our whole MO and our whole goal is to fight by bringing awakening and awareness to the minds of the people who are causing the damage, and
Yeah,
not to
I love
fight
it.
them, but to wake them up so that they stop fighting themselves.
Well,
And
they already know. They know. They
that's
know
the
already.
paradox.
They
I
know.
know.
They
Well, I
they
know
know.
that they know, but I mean to wake up the spirit in them so that they're, you know what I mean? So that they turn around and then they are like, wait a minute.
Despise you because of that. They do, and it's funny because,
Because they
and
can't
and
do
this
anything to stop it.
and this goes back. This goes back to religious. You know, when I first got introduced to like praying on people and laying my hands on people. One of the things was I learned that that we're taught obviously is demons can't stand God's energy. When you open the Bible, he cringes and so on and so forth. So I believe that. And because I believe that, I make it real. So every time I light a candle, every time I light sage, every time I speak a truth, the enemy cringes and runs away. And there's literally nothing, we're more powerful than them. We're more powerful than anything on this planet.
Well,
And
and it's
I
not
learned.
even that I want to be more powerful than them, is I want to wake them up to the fact that they are the same. I want to wake them up to the fact that they're us, and just a different life, in a parallel life, in a past life, that they are us, that we are them, and that I want to wake them up to their memories,
They
wake
don't
them
have
up
to
to
like us,
their
girl.
acknowledgement of it.
They don't have to like us.
No.
They don't have to like us. They don't have to be here. But because we are more powerful than they even thought, they're struggling with it. But there's literally nothing the enemy can do to stop what's happening. And it's happening faster and faster every single day. And there's literally nothing they can do. And I love that you do that. And I can't fill people up from the inside without their permission. So I don't, and I know what you're saying, like envisioning that. I love it. I love that idea so much.
For me, I'm connecting with myself in a different form. So there is consent on that level. Do you know what I'm saying?
Well,
I'm
it's the God light. You don't have to. It has to do with their higher self and God, and that's all that matters, because all that matters is your intention. See,
well, when you see yourself as one, when you see yourself as all of those pieces put together but then taken apart, the whole idea of consent kind of, as long as you're working through purity and light and love, the whole idea of consent, I'm consenting with myself in my higher or my lower forms. So I'm talking to myself and I have my consent. So I'm talking to myself in a past life who's also a parallel life that's happening at the same time. And so when I'm lighting that fire in them, I'm lighting myself in them, if that makes any sense. So I'm not attacking people who don't want me to attack them. You know what I mean? I'm waking myself up in people.
I just stick with, for me personally, what I do is I send them love and light, not love and light in, like, I don't know. I hate saying it like that because it's been ruined by the spiritual community. Because I'm not part of the spiritual community. You know, I'm not part of any community. I don't really want to be a part of anything. I just want to be myself. I want to help as many people as I can and help humanity. That's my intention. I don't want to be a part of anything. I just want to help humanity ascend and not miss this ascension cycle. Anyways, that's where I'm here, and that's why I'm sharing this. And because I have those intentions, just like you, we can send those intentions out to everyone. And I think that that's what you're trying to say and where you're trying to get at. And I understand that. I do. And I think that makes a lot of sense.
It takes a level of understanding that is not accessible to many.
Well, like I said, I think it has more to do with their level of consciousness and their ability to see and what they're able to see and what they're able to believe based on their inner belief system.
Well, and my truth is different than everybody else's, so they might have a different way that they do things, you know.
And that's the greatest part about this. The greatest part about that is that we can be different and still be okay with that. Like, you
God sent different pieces of himself to this battle, because you're not going to think about chess. You're not going to win if you have all pawns. It's not going to be a fun game if it's all queens. It's not going to be, you know, fun if everybody's a rook or a knight. We need different pieces to play different parts, because that makes it not to make it sound like it's trivial, but to make the game entertaining, if that makes any sense.
Well, yeah, we're all here to experience. We're all expressions of God, and that's why we're here to express and feel and learn and level up. But we've been hijacked. And so once we understand that we've been hijacked, we can get back to our inner truth and why we're really here. You know, yes, we have to work to make a living. Yes, we have to do all that still. Yes, unfortunately, that's how it is. However, we understand that the bigger picture is we're all ascending, and you know, and good, bad, or indifferent, it's just a label. And I'm using that term very loosely because of lack of other words. Understand that we're very limited by English, and so yeah.
I think the dogs are signaling. It's time to wrap it up, I think.
Yeah, I think so too.
Hey, anyway, that you know, other than me being a space cadet today, you're welcome.
Big time. I am.
Thank you for joining in for the ADHD version of Becky today.
Yes, I love it. The best part about this is that we just go with the flow and let spirit lead us to what we need to talk about. The only other thing I wanted to go into was sobriety, but I'm not going to do it today. I'll go into it another day.
Yeah, we can talk about that another day, because that's a whole another topic, and you know, you could cover that a million times. You know? Yeah.
Well, it is. And I like that we can get on here with an open mind and just whatever comes out goes. Because I think that that's what people need to hear at the time. Oh, I was going to say that our message is for a specific group of people, and so that's why it might take time, you know, to get the people because our message, but the thing is to be consistent. So this goes for all of you. If you don't see action going on, you don't get subscribers, you're not getting followers, just keep it up, because it takes time for your message to hit, and it's very quantum. You never know when your message is going to be received or how it's going to be received, who's going to receive it, and when they're going to hear your message. So just try to have an open mind and try to stay out of outcomes and expectations.
I'm grateful for the 2 people that listen, or the 2 million people that listen, because it's one heart to another. You know what I mean? We're all connected. So whether it's one heart that I'm connecting to, or a bunch, it's all love, and it doesn't matter the number, because it's all about love.
Yep.
It
And
just
also,
multiplies.
and then your favorite, also take what resonates and leave the rest, because sometimes some of the things might resonate with you, others might not, and that's okay. And that's why I like to put chapters.
We all have our own different opinions. Joy and I aren't always on the same page with everything, although we have a lot of similarities. But that's why I like doing these podcasts, because I feel like we kind of get into conversations where we, not a debate, but where we can discuss from different viewpoints. How we see the world, because your world is different than my world.
Yep.
Every person's world is different than the next person's world, and so it's important to come together and then not compare, but to join in.
Yeah, because we all have our inner knowingness. We all have our own inner knowingness that we, that's our own inner knowing. And it's okay to have differences because of upbringing, because of backgrounds and circumstances. I mean, honestly, we're not meant, like you said earlier, we're not meant to be cookie cutters people. We're not. We're all different, and we all have a different harmonic resonance frequency, whatever you want to call it. And we all have a different purpose.
Yep, we're all different.
So
different pieces to the pie.
Yeah, and I think that if the takeaway for today is flipping the script is to pay attention to your body. Listen to what your body has to say. And if you're in a lot of pain, I understand that you might have a lack of trust, maybe. Think about it, feel into it, with how things turn out. Maybe you've never experienced God doing for you what you couldn't do for yourself. I personally have experienced that. And so I have this level of trust with my Creator that no matter what I step on, I'm going to have something under my feet, no matter what. And I feel like everybody needs to get to that point with their Creator, and that point is coming here very quickly. Be open. I love you.
I love you.
Also, if you want to get in touch with us, our information's in the description box below, and we're here to help. Please reach out.
Absolutely, we're here, and I think that's it.
That's it, you guys. Love you guys.
All right, get out there into the full moon and charge them crystals, and have a wonderful, wonderful awakening journey.
Have a wonderful experience. I love you.
All right, love you, Joy. Bye.
You too. Bye.